This video is going to show you how you can make your own spirit wear. My daughter wanted some designs that she did in Illustrator on a shirt. So after she created them in Illustrator, I saved them to my computer. Now I'm going to upload them and upload image. So now I have to go to where those files are saved. And this is saved as a PNG file. She did this in Illustrator, but she was able to save it with a transparent background. So that's why it's all checkered already in the background, which is really nice. So now I'm going to pick Simple and go Continue. And you can see when I zoom out, there's nothing to even remove because I already had a transparent background. If you would have done it with a solid background, you would have needed to use the magic wand and then click on all the white areas to remove that. And I can even do a preview, and that's going to show exactly how it's going to cut. So now I'm going to go Continue. Over here, this is how I would save it if I want to do it as a print then cut image. That is not what we want. We're going to cut this out of vinyl. So we want to save it as a cut image. And this is for the back of her shirt, so she had already named it back. So I'm going to save that. And now she wants a smaller image on the front, so I'm just going to upload that one also. Same thing, simple image. The background is already removed since it was created with a transparent background in Illustrator. And save that one for the front. Okay, now I'm going to select both of them and insert the images. Those come in really big. So I'm going to zoom out first of all so we can see them. But they came in big because she did high quality files. But that's okay because we can scale things down. See? Look at that. Okay, this one, I'm going to say we want this about 10.5 inches wide. And this one is probably going to be about 3. And once we measure our shirt, we can adjust that. And I'm going to zoom back in. And I'm going to make these both have a gold color because we purchased a shirt that was colored, and then we're going to put these in on gold. Okay, so now we have these all set up. They are ready to cut out. Since I'm going to be doing this in iron-on vinyl, I want to flip or mirror my images. And that's because if you cut it like this and then try to iron it on, the way the iron-on vinyl works, all my words would be backwards. So when I click Make It, I can either click the mirror button at that point, or because I always forget to hit mirror, I can flip horizontally my images here. And now when I click Make It, they're already mirrored. So that works really nice. I'm going to try moving this one to the other mat and see if that I have enough space to get both on one. So if I click on the dot, I can go Move Object and tell it to put it on the other mat and go Confirm. And then I can try to bring this down here. Ooh, not enough space. Okay, so it won't work to do it both on one. That's unfortunate. So I'm just going to cancel and then go Make It again. And now it's going to have to be on 2 mats. So next, we're going to cut these out. We're going to cut this from a golden yellow iron-on vinyl, HTV. And you can see there's one side where you can see the color and there's a really shiny surface. And then the other side is white. So what we want to do is put this on the mat with the color side and shiny surface down. That is your carrier sheet. So that when you cut this and weed out the negative space, you have a nice clear carrier sheet to help you transfer everything from the cutting mat over to your shirt. And we're going to load it. So now I've cut off the big design, and now we're going to cut the little design of the same vinyl for the front of the shirt. So we'll load that. This next step is called weeding. It's removing the negative space from your design. Basically everything you don't want ironed onto your shirt. So I'm using my weeding tool, which has a nice little hook, so that I can go in here and just kind of hook through part of the vinyl and peel it back. And I go nice and slow, so if anything isn't sticking good, I can go back in and grab it. But you can see how that just pulled out the whole center of my design. And I'm gonna have to go back in and get like this little piece between the S and the C and the inside of the palm trees. And then this outside part should come out in one big piece also. So here is the image fully weeded. If you're ever in doubt, if you missed a piece, what I suggest is looking at the image in Design Space and making sure everything has been taken out of the centers, and basically everything you can see, the white canvas in Design Space, should be removed. And now I have my shirt on a cardboard cutout. This is the smaller children's size shirt one. I already have mine on the adult size one. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. So then you can put your shirt inside of that to help give it a little bit more stiffness for when you're placing your image. So the next step is going to be figuring out where you want your image to sit. Do you want it up high? If you have a long ponytail and you go, well, I want it down lower so my ponytail's not over it. I recommend finding a shirt you own that already has an image on it, and then you can start to measure how far down do I like it. 3 inches is a good number, and then you can measure side to side to make sure it's centered. Alright, so now we've moved the shirt onto our heat press. Please refer to your heat press and the product of vinyl that you're using for the exact settings. I'm doing this one at 360 degrees for 30 seconds. The carrier sheet is still over the vinyl. I'm going to place, this is just like a tea towel that I'm placing over the top so that we're not putting the heat directly on the carrier sheet. And now we're going to press it down and lock it in, which for mine automatically sets my timer going. Now we're going to allow the design to cool, and then we will peel off the carrier sheet. So now it's cooled off enough that I can touch it and not feel any heat. So I'm going to peel from the corner. I like to peel back slowly and on the angle so that if any part of this design isn't fully stuck, I could just put the carrier sheet back and hit it again on the heat press. But you can see this is coming off really nice. Go slow, because if you yank this off too fast, that's where you can have items start to pull up. And basically when you run your finger over it, you shouldn't be able to feel a separation, and you should see a little bit of the texture of the fibers of the shirt coming through the vinyl. So I might hit this again with another press, but first let's do the image on the front of the shirt. So now that we have the back ironed on, we flipped it over, and you can see I still have my shirt in my cardboard cutout, and we placed the circle for the front and measured out where we wanted it. Typically about 3 inches down from your collar line is good, but if you're in doubt, find a shirt you have that has a little emblem there and measure where that lands. So now we're going to place that in the heat press. I'm going to throw this towel so we're not pressing right on the carrier sheet. Now we'll let this cool. Now it's cooled, so I'm going to grab it by the corner so that I can pull at the diagonal. I'm going to peel slow so that if any part of it is not releasing, I would just come back and press it back down again. But this is releasing really nicely. Now you want to be able to see the texture of the shirt kind of coming through the vinyl. That helps. That's how you know that it's really adhered. So I'm going to give this a second press. And since it doesn't have the carrier sheet on it anymore, I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper over the top instead of my towel. The reason why is because the parchment paper is smoother. And then if I did the towel, the texture of the towel would press into the vinyl, and we don't want that. To care for your vinyl pressed shirts, I recommend washing them inside out on cold, gentle cycle, and then air dry them. Do not put them in the dryer. Sometimes the heat from the dryer can reactivate that vinyl, and that's going to come right off. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment if you have any questions.